The oldest profession in the universe.
Prostitution.
Yes.
What about it? Why did you bring that up?
We were talking about professionals, aren't we?
We were talking about Paul Green. I think that's...
No, you said you were a pro.
I said you're a pro now at setting up the system.
Ah, okay. I get it.
And then James went off on one of his usual tangents.
After
We were just talking about me being a short, large, four-headed alcoholic.
And now you're a prostitute.
There we go.
Apparently so.
Okay.
I mean, if there's a niche for that, then I guess I'm up for it.
There's a niche everywhere.
Yeah.
I think know that for a fact.
I'll take your 50p.
50p.
After credit. Popcorn Pundits. Week 79.
79, yeah.
79.
James can take that 50p credit off the pound you owe him for Paddington.
Yeah, I've got credit with you.
Yeah, you do. That must be worth like £1 and a penny now.
It must be known well at the moment with the world economy. I'll probably owe them.
Yeah. Me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'll take that. You owe me 50p.
Yeah. It's your Popcorn Pundits. We are a trio of cinema lovers. We like to ensure that you know what's going on at the cinema, and then we tell you what we thought about it, and then you decide whether you're going to go to the cinema or not.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
That was really elegantly cleanly said. I'm sat here thinking that we should actually have a conversation about world politics at some time and just see how little we know. That would be...
I think let's get the podcast done first and then we can...
Yeah, they're giving current affairs. Sultanas, however, I quite like a good sultana.
Fuck off, James.
Anyway.
Don't
you
raise in that.
We do a top 10, we do our film of the week, we do our reviews, Nikky does sequels, and then we crack on. So over to you, Peter. We've got a lot to get through.
Joke?
No, I didn't. I'm going to add to it.
Thank you.
Because I thought it was really rubbish, so we can prune it later.
James didn't hear that. I said don't be raising anything though. Should we do the top 12?
Top 13?
No. I said start from 12.
Oh, I didn't listen to you. I want to do 13.
You can if you want to. Only if James pronounces 9, but he's not that
and 13.
And 13.
So number 13.
Yes. Les Noces di Figaro Met Opera. There you go.
See, it was well worth it, wasn't it? I told you.
2025.
Excellent. Okay.
Open brackets, opera, close brackets.
Open brackets, it's not a film, close brackets. Number 12, Pride and Prejudice 20th anniversary edition.
Yes.
Okay. Sophie went to see that, didn't she?
My gorgeous wife went to see that last night.
Oh, that's why I wanted to talk about it.
And she loved it. In fact, she did say that she's seen this film many, many times. Paused it at the exact right moment when Darcy, has obviously got his shirt off and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But she did say she noticed a lot more at the cinema, and I said that's the beauty of cinema, isn't it?
A lot more of his torso.
A lot more, not just of his torso, but of everything else.
Okay, members.
Possibly know what religion he was.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
wow,
should we crack on?
Yeah. If I made it horny, I'm only 50p. So. Number 11, Disney Snow White.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I had roast dinner at the editor of This Is House on Sunday.
Did you?
Yeah.
You throw that in there, didn't you?
Yeah, I know.
Just crowbar that one in there.
Yeah,
Did you?
I didn't tell him I hadn't seen it. But I...
And did you get served by Grumpy or by...
I know, his wife's really friendly.
Did you have a dopey waiter?
Number 10.
Yes.
Warfare.
Totally brilliant.
Yeah, you reviewed it last week, and I've seen it. I spoke to another couple of people who've seen it, and I really want to go and see it.
I think it's going to be an iconic movie.
Number 9, Thadarum.
Thadarum. There you go.
Well done. That's same as Peter pronounced.
Thadarum.
So this is a.
Oh fuck! Did you want James? Just wait 12 seconds and just ask him to say it again.
So this is a thriller drama.
Yes, it is.
It's got 92% on Rotten Tomatoes already, and a taxi driver who is in love with his black ambassador, and later, due to mysterious circumstances, it seems as if his car is missing, and there's a change in him as he searches for it.
A change in him.
And it's 2 hours and 43 minutes.
Oh, you're looking now like it's one of those screen unseens and you're trying to guess what the film is type thing.
And what country is it from?
I believe it is... it's Indian, Malaysian, maybe?
Sounds fascinating.
Did you hear this week that Kneecap have got in trouble?
Yes!
Yeah, exactly, for a historical comment he made about the Tory party. Yeah. There's a lot of that going on there. Anyway, let's crack on.
It's nonsense, isn't it?
Well...
Number 8.
I might get involved with that one. I'm on the wrong side of the tracks.
Oh, The Amateur.
The Amateur. That was on the wrong side of the tracks also, unfortunately.
It was a bit of a damp squib.
They aimed, they shot, and they missed.
They did. A bit like me and my 50p.
Mm.
The Penguin Lessons. Haven't seen it. Really want to go and see it.
I really
Is it
want
on?
to see it.
I haven't seen it locally. However, let me ask you a question, and perhaps the producer might be able to back me up on this. Is this a remake? Okay, and if so, is the original with what's his name, Renner? Jay
Renner.
Jay Renner from the Professional from the Leon. She's good looking at it now. I'm sure I've seen it on Netflix, where you've got the Professional or the Leon, an older version of him, obviously, and he's got a penguin, and it's called The Penguin Lessons.
I know it's based. I believe it's based on the book by Tom Mitchell.
Well, I'd be interested to see if it's a remake or not, but it's been French first and then perhaps in English afterwards.
Are we pausing the top 10, 13 until we find out, or should we come back to that?
No, keep going.
Okay.
Number 6, Until Dawn.
I won't see that. I will be giving you my point of view about that after this top 10.
Point of view about it, okay. Not a review, a point of view.
Just a pointing and a viewing.
Okay, number 5, Pink Floyd at Pompeii -MCMLXXII.
Which means?
Yeah, it's a date which
It's a date, isn't it, of some kind?
22.
So M is 1,000.
Yeah.
CM is 900.
Yeah.
19 to 22.
And then L is 50.
Yeah.
And X is 10. And I is
1972.
1.
1972.
Yeah.
Yeah, 19. That must be.
That's what I said.
You were. Not even.
I mean, that was hard work. Number 4, The Accountant 2 and The Accountant 1, because James saw both of them. He's going to give his review of both of them.
Yes. After the top 10.
Number 3,
Yes.
Star Wars : Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
You've got the high ground, Anakin.
Yes.
That's right.
Number 3's at number 3.
Oh, let me get giddy. One of my staff, Ruby, and her fellow went to see this.
Is this the Dennis Menace face man?
Yes.
Okay. The one who has red and black face.
No, that's the first one. No, Darth Maul's not in this one. Darth Maul died in the first one.
Spoiler alert.
Phantom Menace. It's the third one.
Phantom Menace.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the third one where this is the iconic one where Anakin turns into Darth Vader.
Is it?
Yeah. When he gets
Spoiler alert.
when he gets all chopped up, gets thrown in the lava, and he goes ah, and then the Emperor turns up and goes, "I'll take care of that."
Yeah.
And then he sticks some metal bits on him, and then
Wow.
Beautiful.
ow.
Number 2.
Sinners.
Yes.
I went to the cinema and I saw a film.
And so did Tom
Yay.
Cruise. Tom Cruise famously went to see Sinners, and he's been actually promoting this movie all week.
This movie? Sinners, not
Yes.
his movie.
Not his movie, because his movie's not out yet.
No, is it out next year?
No, it's out in about 3 weeks' time.
What trailer did I see where it said it's going to be out next year?
No, that's probably an old trailer.
No, shut up. There was a trailer. Listen, do listening now. There was a trailer for a film. I can't remember what it was. I'll find out and I'll let you know. And it went through the whole trailer. I was like, oh, that's going to be interesting to see. And then it said release date 2026.
Oh, but it wasn't Tom Cruise movie, was it?
I think it was Mission Impossible.
Well, they're wrong. Because it's out in about 4 weeks' time. I'm watching a Mission Impossible movie every week.
Then it wasn't that one, it was another one.
Was
There
it
you go.
Top Gun 3, The Last Mission?
No.
Oh, that's
Number
in
1, a
2026.
Minecraft movie. It's still a number 1.
Yes. And it deserved. I mean, it's sunshine, it's funny. Yes, Nikki.
Was it The Last Samurai number 2, 2026?
No.
What's annoying is that recently, with the invention of AI and all the technology that's so easy in people's fingertips, there's so many bloggers out there making false trailers for movies that are nothing.
Mate,
And I'm really angry about it.
I only see trailers at the cinema.
Well, all I'm saying is the ones that Nikki's mentioned so far, Last of Samurai 2 does not exist.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Exactly.
I thought you were still on my
Not
subject.
at all. No, it's not all about you,
You
Dan.
wouldn't
No,
be.
okay, well, but it
so
is.
subjective.
Right, come on in.
Come on then. That's your top 10. Out of the top 10 so far, we would recommend the Minecraft movie. I would recommend Sinners, but I'd be interested to see what Peter says. Definitely recommend Star Wars, because see it on the big screen. I mean, it's a great movie. The Ambassador, not so much. Warfare, definitely. And my wife said go to Pride and Prejudice because he wear tight trousers.
Beautiful.
Sorry, just on IMDb.
Yes.
So it says Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is coming out this year.
Yes.
And there's one. It's an untitled film at the moment by Alejandro G Interroom, and it's due out in 2026.
Yeah, he's got about 5 projects
Tom Cruise
in pre-production at the moment.
He's got Live, Die, Repeat and Repeat,
I know.
Broadsword, The Gauntlet, and an untitled Tom Cruise SpaceX project.
Yes.
Was it the Wes Anderson one? When's that out? There's a new Wes Anderson trailer this week.
I don't know the date for that. That might be next year.
2026.
It might
I just
be.
remember thinking,
yay! It looks bonkers. No. It looks great.
It does look proper bonkers. Right.
So there we have it. There we have it.
So we're going to spend the next half an hour talking about accountants. That's going to be great fun, isn't it?
So we've got The Accountant and Accountant 2, we've got Sinners, and we've also got Until Dawn. Nikki, what order would you like us to do this in?
I think we should Peter sandwich.
Yes, but what order would you like us to do this in?
Let's go. Do you know what? Let's end with an accountant. Let's end
with an accountant. Okay, so we're going to start with an Until Dawn. That's what we're going to start with.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I was not. I'm about to move my clipboard, paperwork around. And I'm just moving my head around because this time last year, the light was coming in exactly the same angle.
Yeah.
That's how the Earth works.
And Windows.
Yeah, so annoying.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stand here. I'm going to sit here until the sun goes down.
All right, just go. Okay. Come on.
So if you're watching, okay. So
choppity chop chop.
I went to see a film called Until Dawn. It is a.
It's a good name for a horror film.
It's a very good name for a horror film. However, what I did not know, it's also the name of a video game by PlayStation, and this movie is based all around the PlayStation game Until Dawn.
Are you not reviewing Minecraft again?
Well, that's exactly what I thought. Yeah, so 2 movies that couldn't be any different from each other.
Yeah.
Both and what was quite nice was at the start of the movie, obviously, you had the normal sort of credits, and then the PlayStation logo came up, which I thought was quite cool as well. Yeah. Anyway, so it's the best way to describe this movie is it's set up like a classic horror movie. Okay, you've got the dramatic start to this movie where you see. A lot of movies are doing this now, where even before the credits come up, even before the storyline starts, they give you a taste of what level of horror that you're going to be expecting for the rest of the movie, and they give you an instant kill right at the very beginning, and then they just pad it out and then give you the storyline and give you the plot and give you a bit of character development, and then the carnage begins, and then it ends and the sun rises. That's pretty much what a lot of horror movies are doing.
Yeah, absolutely right. That is the model right there.
So this is exactly this is following this exact same setup. So right at the very beginning of the movie, you see a female character being chased. Go through tunnels and crawling away out, just to the point where she's managed to escape several different sort of moments of near-death experiences. And then out of nowhere, she's just at one point, and it just won't spoil anything because it's all in the trailer, it's all within the first 30 seconds. Just before she's about to die, just before she's about to get her head completely smashed in by this unknown assailant, she turns around and goes, "No, not again! I can't die anymore." And then it is black, you see. And you're never quite sure if she died or not because you don't see the death. So I'm not giving anything away.
Okay.
Next scene, you see a young group of people in a car. It's always in a car, isn't it? And they're always travelling somewhere in a forest to a location.
Yeah, the Cabin in the Woods.
It's exactly the same. Cabin in the Woods, Friday the 13th, all those lovely gory horror movies. They all start in the woods, in a car. They're always of a certain age. Yep. They're never in their 50s.
No.
They're always in their late 20s, early 30s, maybe tipping into a bit of a 40s sometimes.
Certain brass eyes.
Exactly. There's a lot of that going on there. So you've got I think 4 characters in the car, and they are. It's immediately obvious that they are searching for the character that was at the very beginning of this film. Okay, and it's very obvious that the female character at the beginning has been missing for quite some time, and it's the sister that's looking for her.
Right.
And the sister's brought her friends with her to go, "We're going to find my sister," and they're pretty much there going, "Listen, it's been."
But how do they know where to look?
Wow. They followed signs on the video posts that she made. You see.
Oh my God!
Exactly. So they come across a petrol station.
What
No, but it's a massive cliche. Every single time you get a four in a car, you go to a petrol station, you go, oh, we don't like strangers around here. That sort of thing.
Cabin in the Woods.
It's exactly Cabin in the Woods. But what's nice about the twist is that the female character from the very first footage, she actually shoots the footage outside this petrol station, going, I'm searching, and I don't. So that's where they're able to follow her.
Got you. Okay.
That's where it all starts to kick off. Now, there was a lovely surprise in the, and Nick, I'm going to ask Nikki to look up Until Dawn now to look at the cast members because I've forgotten to write down the person's name. There's a lovely surprise in the petrol station, okay? Because traditionally it's usually a side actor. Traditionally it's usually an actor that maybe come in later on just for a one line or perhaps near the end.
Like a 70-year-old man carrying a sign.
With a dog.
Yeah.
And some sort of mutant child that's usually sort of like third generation sort of inbred thing going on there. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of dungarees. Lots of dungarees usually. Yeah. Okay. This is not the case, however. On this occasion, you have this beautiful actor that you see in quite a few movies. He's been in John Wick's and he's been in lots of other horror movies. I can't remember his name, but I know he's I think he's Austrian or he's Swedish, but he always plays a Russian. Big beard, name.
I'm just trying to find out who you mean.
Okay.
What, do you know the name of the character?
Not at all. There's only five people in this movie. He's got a big beard. But you might not have a beard in the picture.
Yeah, but you might not have a beard in line.
Oh, we can do it like Guess Who, so it's definitely not a woman.
Okay, so is it Belmont Kamel?
Right. Was he?
Peter Stormer?
Okay, he's the oldest one of the whole lot, and you'll have an Austrian or a Swedish name.
Tibor Skrazervane?
Yeah, that sounds more like it. I love the way you said it like a question. You should be telling me.
Or is it Willem van der Wert?
They're all Scandi. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
They're all Scandi, old bearded men.
Anyway,
was he pleading? In the film, pleading is in.
No.
Oh, okay, so because there's a Willem van der Wert, and I can't think who else it would be, but no one else has pictures.
Shall I come round and look?
Yes.
You said Willem van der Wert, like a proper Dutch person.
Well, how else are you going to say Willem?
No, you said it right.
Thanks.
Yeah. I said like a proper Dutch person.
Dankeschön.
Yeah.
Dankjewel.
It's actually him.
Yeah, that's what it said. Yeah. Peter Stormer.
Yes. So he's been in John Wick, and Nikki will go on and to tell us what other films he's been in. But he's a classic actor, and he plays some amazing sort of bit parts in movies. And I was pleasantly surprised to see him in this. What would you categorically call this movie a B horror movie? So anyway, so he turned and he goes, oh, because they were lucky. They were saying, oh, have you seen this girl? You see, and he goes, oh, I think she was here a while ago, about a year ago, and I think she went up that way. You see, and he went, okay, thanks. So they go on driving. That's exactly what he talks
I'm
about.
the accent.
Yeah, that's exactly what he talks about. And they're driving, and out of nowhere the heavens just open, and it's like sheer rain, just sheer like colossal. You know, where that rain where you just cannot see anything through.
Yeah.
We've all been there, and we're driving like 10 miles an hour. That's what happens, okay? And then they drive through. They drive through the rain, almost as if it's a rain curtain.
Yeah, because that's in the trailer as well, isn't it? Yeah, one of the girls basically walks from dry into like a straight wall of rain.
So this and what we suddenly realise is that the house they come across is actually in the centre of this circle of non-rain. So it's like all eyes are pointing at this house, so to speak. So they go into the house.
They should probably have a look there then.
That's exactly what they did. So they go into the house, and with normal sort of setup, they immediately make themselves very, very comfortable, like people always do in horror movies. It's like putting the fire on and looking through the fridge and that sort of thing.
One of them goes to a corner and rolls a biff.
Yeah, usually, and this is not even your house. What are you doing?
Yeah.
However, and there's also a gigantic egg timer on one of the walls, and they're looking at it going, "What?"
So at this bit, at this point in the film,
yes.
Are you vested? Are you enjoying this at the moment?
At this point in the movie,
Is it a good setup?
I have to say, at this point in the movie, what we have here is, it doesn't take long to get to this point, and you've already set up the characters. The characters aren't that three-dimensional, unfortunately. They're a little bit sort of shallow in the character development, but you're fine with that because it's technically, as I said, it's technically a B movie. So it doesn't take long and you're not waiting long for one of the characters to die.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have to say, the gore is good. Okay, the gore is good in this one. Okay, there's not much. There's a little bit of CGI, but there's a lot of realism within the gore.
I'm guessing the geeky guy gets it first.
Well, That's the funny thing about it, because I can't remember exactly which one got it first. I'll tell you the reason why I can't remember which one got it first. Because they all died within the first 10 minutes.
Blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. They all died within the first 10 minutes. And then, as soon as they die, the egg timer turns around, okay, and they all start in exactly the same position, which just before they died. So one of them is like doing a window, one of them doing something else. They're all doing different actions,
Okay.
and so they all start.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Groundhog Day, all those. Now, what's really really lovely? There's two really special moments about this movie. Number one is after the fourth time of them dying.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one of the characters turns around and goes, "This is just like a movie," and I go, "Yes." Thank you very, very much. And then they mentioned Groundhog Day.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Right.
And they go, yeah, but this is really weird because traditionally in these sort of movies, they die. Everybody dies, or something happens to these people. The same thing over and over again. So you get to learn and you get to overcome these difficulties. But this not like these normal movies. And that's it. Then they stop the conversation and think to yourself, nice. What they've done is they've set it up. They've made you realise as they're self-aware as a viewer. You know very well that you're expecting the same deaths over and over again, and then they just throw that in and go, no, it's not like that. And true to the form, every single death, it's always different. And I won't tell you how many times they have to die before something happens. But I'd say about to the point where you're getting bored, to the point where you think to yourself, oh, okay, I know it's different every time, but come on, get on with it, sort of thing. There is the most spectacular death scene I've seen for a long, long time. And in fact, the cinema wasn't that full at all, but almost everybody stood up and clapped.
Fuck off.
Seriously. And because you knew that you were standing with other people who enjoyed a good horror.
Yeah.
I was laughing my little tits off. I was clapping, whooping. And what was lovely about the death scene was it did something in a very sort of, I would say Final Destination shock moment. Yeah, okay, Final Destination shock moment, and it's not next year. It's not. It's about 3 weeks time. I knew exactly what you do because we were watching Final Destinations as well, catching up with them. Anyway, but this death scene continues with the other characters, and they're going, "This is brilliant! Do kill them all like this way," and that was the saving grace of this movie. That was truly the saving grace of this movie. What other notes I mean? So, Evil Dead is a prime example of this movie. Obviously, Groundhog Day, Edge of Tomorrow, which we're talking about the recurrence of the same thing over and over again. But all in all, I would say I was pleasantly surprised as a B movie goes. The plot is very simplistic, but as I said before, there's one or two lovely twists in it. There's a lovely little montage of all the deaths because they find a camera. And then he suddenly realised they've died more times than he thought they'd died.
Okay.
So that's where you see the footage in the adverts of some of the deaths in that as well. The relationships between the characters aren't necessarily that important, and they didn't go into too much development with that in the slightest. The soundtrack is nothing to write home about. But the overall plot and the overall idea, I'd definitely watch it again. It's almost got, it does have elements of Cabin in the Woods as well, with similar levels of humour going all the way through it as well. Yeah. So yeah, kudos to the filmmakers. Really enjoyed it.
Very good.
7.9.
Ooh. Wow, you did really enjoy it.
I did enjoy it.
What day of the week did you watch it?
Watched it on a Saturday evening at 6:20.
Oh, they put it on at an early time.
But I think there was 4 versions of it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe each one was different. Ooh.
What day of the week would you watch it?
Definitely a Saturday, Friday or Saturday night. And it's quite short. It's a great little I fancy cheeky little horror. I'll put that on. Well then, definitely recommend it.
Would you improve it in any way?
The only way you improve it would be by ruining the B movie element of it, because I think the B movie element makes it kind of cute in that respect. I think if they added bigger actors to it and made it more of a serious plot, I think you would have expected more from it.
The reason I asked how you were enjoying it at that point is because you sounded really animated about the plot setup, and considering it's such a formulaic setup for a horror movie, you sounded to be really enjoying it. So.
Yeah, but what I do love about some of these movies, and although they're formulaic, it's a case of they know where they're at. It's like a warm hug. It's comfortable. You know where you're at, and you know what's going to happen. And then ever so often they throw a little surprise in.
Yeah.
So
very good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a win-win.
So your actor,
Yes.
Mr. Stormare.
Yes.
He is known for Dancer in the Dark, Constantine,
Yes.
The Brothers Grimm, and Fargo.
Yes. He's been in a lot.
Beautiful.
And John Wick as well.
Well, yeah, he's been in a lot, but I didn't
Yeah.
even need to.
And he's always the guy behind the desk going, so you've come to kill me. He's that guy.
Oh.
Yeah, he's always that guy.
Butterflies are a recurring motif in Until Dawn 2015, which is the video game,
Right.
due to the butterfly effect gameplay that enables many consequences through multiple options given throughout the game, and the butterfly motif appears in the film.
Oh.
Did you notice it?
I did see butterflies, and I thought that was, and I thought I misread that because I thought that was a rebirth thing rather than the butterfly effect.
So
So you see where I'm coming from?
Because we had that in a film recently, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Butterfly on the finger. What was that in?
Oh, that was a heretic.
Heretic.
Yes.
So Megan, one of the
Well
characters,
remembered.
wears a butterfly necklace and earrings that indicate her psychic nature.
Yes.
The witch's house is a butterfly made of bones, and there's a pickaxe bears with a butterfly rune on it.
Okay, right. Well, it makes sense. And also that enforces the element of each death being completely different because obviously each reoccurrence has a different cause and effect.
Yeah, very good.
Very good. Very good indeed.
So it's a bit of a hit.
It's not an A24 movie though, it's more commercial though. It's definitely a Blumhouse style movie, I would say.
Cool. Very shiny and polished.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, so this week I went to the cinema on Monday and I went to see Sinners, which you reviewed really beautifully and energetically last week.
Thank you.
So we don't need to go massively into the plot, but I was just kind of give you my opinion on it.
To be fair though, I didn't give too much away with the plot because I thought the plot was quite simplistic.
Did you?
I did, but I also I'll tell you what else I forgot to mention. I'm glad that you bring up this week was the whole relationship between the brothers for the first 3/4 of the movie, even before any carnage. It's quite interesting that sort of Hoodville and that.
One of the things I wanted to say was
Yes.
I thought there was so much plot in this film
a lot, isn't it?
that actually I thought this would maybe even have been a better series than it was a film, because you're right.
You love a bit of series chat, don't you?
Well, yeah, but I normally don't like TV series.
Yeah.
But in this particular instance, I wanted more of more.
Yeah.
So I wanted more of Remick. I wanted more of the vampire side of things, because it's played by Jack O'Connell, who, like, you know, from Skins and SAS Rogue Heroes. And
I don't know any of those programs.
Oh, so SAS Rogue Heroes is a very recent thing. It came out this year, and he's just a brilliantly charismatic actor, and he's kind of like, he comes across as like one of those. What do they call it? Not character. You know, when they kind of totally immerse themselves in the role, or whatever. Yeah. And I thought
method actors.
Method actor. That's one. And I thought he played a really great lead vampire.
He did.
I thought it was really good, but I wanted to see more
over-egg
of it. No. But it was incredibly over-egged because they burst into like.
Oh no! But what I'm trying to say is, the dancing and the whole like the singing and everything else was completely sort of hammed up to a certain extent. But I felt that his role wasn't over-egged. As in, like, they didn't give too much spotlight. He was
this is what I kind of mean, because basically we have the plot of Remick, where he basically just turns up and he's vampire-y, and there are usual vampire bits that you get, which they use really well in this film, like especially entering a house and being invited to enter a house. They use that quite a few times in this, which is I thought done really, really well. I just wanted more of him, and I wanted to find out why he was a vampire. And
maybe they'll do a prequel or a sequel.
Yes, but in the kind of ways of like Interview with a Vampire and that type of like, the whole kind of because these films, this is 2 hours and 17 minutes long.
It's a big. I told you it's big.
It's a lot to watch. But then you have got the whole relationship between the twins, and they basically just tell you the relationship right at the very beginning about who they were.
And I did say,
and the Smokestack brothers, whatever they're called, and I just wanted more and more of it, and I just thought this could be 4 or 5 films, and it could all have come together at this end, as it came to, like, in the conclusion in this film. And I would have been equally immersed into each one of the films, because there was, the Witch Doctress.
I know.
And absolutely, Witch Doctress is not a word, but
it isn't my word.
But the voodoo witch.
But didn't you find that you forgot completely within 5 minutes that it was the same actor playing two brothers.
Oh, if you hadn't have said it last week,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known that it was, to be totally honest with you.
And you've got to admit, my comment last week that Michael B. Jordan is one of the only men who can pull off a vest and a moustache and still look hot. You've got to admit that.
Oh, he looks fabulous.
Doesn't he?
But
I definitely would.
But the whole cast is just
slick, aren't they?
They're slick and fuckable and
Yeah.
sweaty and
Yeah,
you know, there's this whole air of sex.
Yeah.
And it's a really great film. I just think it would have been one of the greatest series of all time because I wanted more story of all of them, and they got so much in. And like, it's Ryan Coogler, isn't it, who did Black Panther, and it has
so much better than Black Panther.
Oh yeah, but Black Panther does have an epicness about it. It does have an air about it, and also, you know, we have to talk about the whole kind of blaxploitation side of things, and you know,
the white music and the black music.
The soundtrack is so powerful and disconcerting and makes you feel really uncomfortable in your seat, and you know, at times when it's sexy, it's super sexy, and you know, the character in this film actually contribute towards the soundtrack, don't they, in certain areas, and it's just fucking brilliant. I
knew you'd enjoy it.
It's so good, but it's
the next level just till dawn, I think.
Yeah, but
without the humour, I think it's more sexy than it is funny.
I don't think it's sexy enough. I think
really.
You know, I mentioned Angel Heart last week,
yeah,
and one of the powerful things about Angel Heart was the actual raw sexuality within that film, and I thought this needed a bit of that, to be totally honest with you. But I just felt every bit of this film could have been more, and yeah, it's just I just kind of came out. I loved it, but yeah, it's very rare that I think this shouldn't have been a film. This should have been
because you know that this was. Behind it, I don't think he is credited, but behind the camera, you had Christopher Nolan.
Mm-hmm. Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so and he was helping out with the 35mm, which they turned to one side to make it 70mm, and that's why the whole film felt so gigantic, because it did feel. I mean, even the smaller scenes just felt like an epic western. You know what I mean? It had that sort of vibe, that gigantic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, as I mentioned before, Tom Cruise has been going absolutely crazy about this film all week. He went to the cinema and he was waving his sticker around and doing little videos about it and all sorts.
I haven't seen any of that, but I can totally understand why. But yeah, my only criticism is that
more.
And that's not a bad criticism.
No,
but you do come away wanting to. I want to know why why the Smokestack Brothers became so kind of notorious and feared, and
but also loved as well. They were respected, loved. It had that sort of Craze Brothers vibe.
But there wasn't much vampireness, was there?
No.
And there wasn't much gangsterishness.
No, but I like the fact there was no turning into bats. There's no, unlike Blade, where every time a vampire gets killed, they turn into smithereens, and there was none of that over the topness.
Which certainly has its place.
Yes,
listen.
Don't not Blade. Blade is a classic 1990 movie.
Yeah,
absolutely. An incredible soundtrack.
It was just one of those films that they did it because they could.
Yeah,
it was the dawn of that level of CGI, and they used it brilliantly well. I don't know. I just think they missed a trick with this. I think this is this is a great film. This could have been so good if it was 6 hours of cinema.
Right. So what should we give it?
I'm going to give it. Does it start with a 9? It starts 8.8.
8.8. What did I give it last week?
8.5.
There you go. See, that we're seeing each other from
2 hours and 17 minutes.
Yeah. It just goes like that.
It does not. It could not go any quicker, and that's because they're trying to shoehorn a shit lot of info into
a tiny bit of time.
Yeah, it's well worth going to see. Did we talk about whether you should go and see this and from the top 10 bit? Because you should definitely go and see this film.
100%.
It is an.
I didn't say anything because I went for you.
I think we're waiting. For
absolute must see
at the cinema, definitely, because it needs that epicness and the sound and
So That gives it 8.6, which means it's got onto our board.
Yay!
And just a quick fact, obviously you said about Christopher Nolan and his wife Emma assisting on the shooting. Ryan Coogler, who's the director, said he had American heavy metal band Metallica on his mind when he was laying out the story's rhythm and beats.
Yeah, I can see that.
He said, I wanted the movie to have the simplicity and simultaneously the profound nature of a Delta blues song, but I wanted it to have the vast contrast, variation, and the inevitability of a great Metallica song like One. He says One is a signature song from the band's 1988 album, and Justice for All. It starts off with almost like an easy listening solo, you know what I'm saying, and then the beat just goes back insane in a way you could never have seen coming at the time. It felt like it was going there all along. The movie's basically that. And Lars Ulrich, the drummer for one of the founding members of Metallica, is credited as one of the drummers in the movie's scoring orchestra.
Oh, cool. I'm not that familiar with Metallica.
I love Metallica.
Yeah. Yeah, not my thing at all.
Cool Chamber, Metallica.
Give me Radiohead any day of the week.
Okay.
We know. Okay.
Shall we?
So it's made it to the top. Our board.
Yeah.
Very pleased.
We've got
about
these
that.
kinds of kindness on arrival.
Oh, yeah.
Or do we? Because obviously,
Yeah.
and the accountant too.
Oh yeah.
We might need to lose both.
Yeah, absolutely right.
We'll find out.
Well, 1 and 2 might go on there, so we might lose sinners.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
We'll find out.
The shortest visit to our board ever. Right, come on then, talk to me about the accountant. If this is any good, I'll fucking shoot myself.
Right, this is the accountant. So we've got the accountant and we've got the accountant 2. The accountant 2 has obviously come out this year, which is a sequel to the accountant. Now,
oh, so the accountant came out first.
apparently so. They're good with numbers, you see.
Oh.
So, Ben Affleck's one of these actors. I think you either are drawn towards him immediately or you have to be dragged towards him.
Yeah, I hate him.
Yeah. So I usually have to be dragged towards Ben Affleck, and I'm usually only more excited about who is he starring the movie with.
Yeah.
For instance, when he did the Jordan movie, I thought he played that quite well because he played a quirky character. Matt Damon boosted the acting up on that. Yeah, exactly. So, and then he's obviously been in Argo, which is a fantastic film. He's been in The Town, which is a beautiful film as well. We're not even going to talk about Batman because that's a no. We don't go down that route. But obviously you've got Good Will Hunting and all the classic films.
Gone Girl.
Yeah,
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, Gone Girl. Well, yeah, that's another acting.
Anyway, let's move on.
So the reason why I'm bringing this subject is because I've never seen The Accountant, and The Accountant's been out for quite a few years.
Yeah. So I haven't seen it either, and my impression is it's very similar kind of plot line to The Amateur.
Well, you'd think so, but not really. Okay, because he's a big guy, Ben. I mean, physically, he's a big chap. Okay, so they use his physicality in this film. So in the first film, you go on
hung.
In all ways. Yeah. The first film really sets out the plot for the accountant and his personality, his sort of disorder, and also his background, and also what he does for a living now. So the film, The Accountant 1, starts off with Ben Affleck behind a desk interviewing an elderly couple who are putting their taxes through for the year. You immediately know that Ben Affleck's a good guy with this, okay? And you immediately know that the older couple are going to be little characters in this movie as the time goes on because of the way this conversation's going. And obviously he's helping them with their accountants, with their accounts, and he's obviously incredibly smarter than most people that you would care to mention, and he's obviously on the spectrum on a gigantic level. To the point where he's able to calculate for the couple in front of him exactly what their tax is, just purely through his brain. And every time he mentions something, he calculates the tax further down and down and down. And there's a lovely little scene where he's basically saying to him, so you use your house, what part of the house do you use to work in? And he goes, oh, I use the living room. Now, what square footage is that living room? And he starts talking, and Ben Affleck's going, and he's basically coaxing them into giving the right answers, so they had to virtually pay no tax at all at the end of the year. And it's a lovely little scene, but you know very well it's a massive setup that they're going to be in the movie later on, and it's almost definitely going to have to save them at the end of the movie because something horrible is going to happen. Because he happened to mention, oh, thank you so much, you've saved our farm, you can come and see us at the farm whenever you want.
Oh, there we go.
Clunk, that sort of moment, you see. So that pretty much sets up the whole movie. So the backstory with Ben Affleck's character, whose name is Christian Wolff, just like that, Christian Wolff. He's a highly skilled accountant with autism, with unique skills for forensic accountants and other lovely little bits like that. So you immediately get the backstory with why he is the way he is. He's obviously born with autism. He's taken to a hospital. The doctor is explaining to his parents, about his position and where he's at. Now his father, because I love the way they do a backstory, because they always make it slightly hazy. They always make the soundtrack a little bit echoey to make it like slightly dreamy.
A bit of a Vaseline lens.
Yeah, a little bit of Vaseline lens, all that. So you're in that similar territory, and it's obvious that the dad is ex-military or he is military, and he's there going, I'm not having my son being mollycoddled and sort of, as far as I'm concerned, he needs more light, he needs more noise, he needs more chaos in his life, and he'll pull through this, you see. And the doctor's there going, are you sure? Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm a doctor of autism, and he needs the light needs to come down, the noise needs to come down, and the stress levels need to come down, and then he'll develop, the way that you want him to develop as a human being. But no, Dad's not interested in that in the slightest. And the next scene you see is that the mom leaving, so the dad's left at home with two brothers now, with Ben Affleck and his brother, who's played by Jon Bernthal. Bernthal. Now Jon Bernthal is also the Punisher. He's also the weightlifting character from Wolf of Wall Street. The one at the list of weights.
Oh right, yeah.
He's that character. He's all muscles, broken nose.
Yeah.
Rough as a badge of ass.
Yeah.
He's always very New York. I'm very New York. And he's also in The Bear as well. Always plays a brother. Always plays rough end of the stick. And this is no exception to that. So obviously you see the back story of the two brothers. Going through a tough time. One's autistic, and one is like really angry all the time and wants to beat everybody up all the time. But they're really close, and the other tussle every so often. And the dad is teaching them how to fight. You see, and he's teaching them how to shoot guns, and so you keep getting these back stories all the way through the film. Now, the relationship between the two brothers is obviously a distant relationship because the accountant now lives completely by himself in a silver Winnebago. But the silver Winnebago has got millions and millions of pounds of different currency and different drawers. And as purely as an accountant with autism, you can imagine everything is very, very crisp. Everything is very, very sort of prime and calculated. And he uses the Winnebago as a storage area. You see, and people ask him, say, "You live in a Winnebago?" He said that would just be silly. And what is great for Ben Affleck in this role is that I don't think Ben Affleck can act, quite frankly. Okay, Batman, all the other roles. Yeah, he's not an actor. He plays Ben Affleck, and he always comes across as incredibly cold, incredibly calculated. And this role, I think, is absolutely perfect for him because he doesn't have to act. He just goes, "Yes, I know." And what he'll do is the funny aspects of this movie are when somebody asks him a direct question and they're expecting a nice answer. And purely in an autistic sort of way.
Oh, he's got no empathy.
He's got no empathy at all. So he will actually turn around and go and send it back again. Now, the reason why he's able to look people slightly more in the eye than normal autistic people, and the reason why he's able to convey and actually carry on a normal life and actually be an accountant at the same time as being an assassin at the same time, which we'll come back to later, is that he spent a certain amount of time in prison because he was working for really big mobsters and gangsters as an accountant. And at one point, something happened, and he got taken to prison. And in his jail cell, he met the most charismatic, loving father type figure that you would ever want to meet if you were in that situation. And he basically taught him how to pretend to be a human being.
Right. Okay.
You see, and that's where the character, that's where the plot continues. So
Are we still on 1?
We're still on 1. So that's pretty much the plot of 1.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
I thought we were on to 2.
So that's pretty much the plot of 1. And so the two brothers don't see each other through the entire movie, and you only realise that the two brothers are independent assassins. And they meet at the very end because they're both doing the same hit.
Right.
Okay, so that's the setup for the first one. Okay. Now the second one, The Accountant 2.
Does it end up on the farm, number 1?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah,
Just checking.
You know it's going to.
Just checking.
Yeah. Now the second one is exactly the same storyline, really. Okay. The two brothers are apart again. Okay. But what is really, really clever about the second one is they've managed to inject loads of humour into this.
Right.
Okay. So all the way through the second one, the second film, you know this is like a number of years later, and all the way through the second film, Ben Affleck wears a number of really amusing T-shirts. Okay. And they're not mentioned. They're not mentioned at all. But he's got things like sauce and then a picture of a cock bird. Mm-hmm. And you think to yourself, and every single time you spot these T-shirts all the way through. Now, another funny element in this is that he's obviously a bit lonely, Ben Affleck, and he wants some affection. He wants to meet somebody. So one of the fantastic scenes in this is that he joins a speed dating association. But when he does it, because of his autism and because of his intellect, he breaks into the computer, redoes the whole algorithms completely, rejigs how he should answer these questions, then uses AI to figure out exactly how his pictures should look to make him more attractive. And the only thing that was wrong with him apparently was he didn't smile. So he AI'd all of his pictures to make him smiling in the pictures. So at the start of this speed dating meeting, there's a whole vast avalanche of expected females out there in the audience, and there's all these men sitting at tables, and they're all lining up for Ben Affleck. Nice. All of them, because they've all filled in forms. But what's really sad is every time they're going to talk to him, on paper he's brilliant. The pictures look brilliant. He's handsome. He's an accountant. He's rich. But once he starts talking to them, he starts giving them accounting advice. Yeah. Or starts talking about how their pension should do, and so on and so forth. And each one of them starts walking away. And so he knows himself that it's not good. No matter how much he cheats the system, he's got to learn how to communicate with people on a face-to-face value. However, that's not what saves this movie. What saves this movie is Jon, what's his name?
Yep.
Okay. Because his character is padded out so beautifully in this film that at one point, because you have to remember the background of this character is that he's been brought up with a mother who's left, okay, a father who was obsessed with military aspects, and there's certainly no hugs going on there, okay, and also a brother who he adores and absolutely adores his brother, but his brother's never going to hug him because he's got autism and the whole fully touchy sensory thing going on there as well. So what you have here is you have a hardened ex-military assassin, okay, walking around in this incredible hotel room, okay, because I think they're setting up for a big job and a big assassination or something like that. And he's usually walking around in his boxer shorts, talking to himself in the mirror, continuously going, "Come on, you can do this, you can do this, you can ring it, you can do it, you can." And he goes through several scenarios, and you think to yourself, he's trying to ring somebody. He's trying to ring, and there's nothing's explained. He's trying to ring this woman, and he keeps mentioning this woman's name, and he goes, and he keeps going through scenarios. He goes, I know, and the scenario is, I know you said 12 weeks, but this is only 8 weeks, and I know I'm ringing you now, type of thing. And he thinks, maybe she wanted a bit of distance, maybe they're broken up or something. And so then he goes to ring her, puts the phone down, and continues. And it's really funny because he keeps interrupting himself continuously in the mirror, and he's actually very, very funny. And I'm not going to tell you what the joke is.
Okay.
But it is very, very funny.
Okay.
The action is there's a lot of shooting, there's lots of bone crunching, there's lots of, in both movies, in fact more so in the second movie, because the two brothers get together and they literally beat the living daylights of everybody, because obviously Ben Affleck's been trained and he's got no empathy, so he's quite happy to kill as many people as physically possible.
Can we go directly to The Accountant 2, or do we need to see The Accountant
1? Good question.
No, not you, sorry. Yeah. I know where we are now.
Yeah.
And 1.
No, I don't think you do. I think you could probably miss out on Accountant 1 and go straight to 2, because it explains everything. And what's lovely about The Accountant 2 is you don't get all the flashbacks, because the flashbacks, they didn't employ very good actors to play the kids, unfortunately, and that would have wound you up completely, because there was moments where you think to yourself, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
Stop that right now. Whereas The Accountant 2, it's self-aware. It's funny, it's bone crunchy, and it trundles along.
Beautiful.
Yes. I give it 7.9.
Ooh,
Bloody hell.
that's
Yeah.
not bad.
What about the Accountant one?
Oh, 5.3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
funnily enough, on my way here, I bumped into some people I know,
Yeah.
and they have just seen The Accountant a day or two ago.
Right.
And they said, I don't like Ben Affleck, but I loved the film.
There you go.
So they really liked
There
it.
you go.
Just some facts as well.
Mhm.
So it's actually already won an award.
Okay.
It was the winner of the Audience Award at the South by Southwest Film Festival.
Wow.
One of the actors in it, one of the young actors, he's called Nick Sanchez. He plays Charles.
Right.
He is he's a 20-year-old young actor, model, and filmmaker, and refers to himself as awesomely autistic. He's a strong advocate for kindness, and he recently made history as the first actor with autism to play a lead character with autism in a Hallmark movie, Our Christmas Journey.
I have to say, talking about autism, sorry to interrupt. Although the first movie was based purely on Ben Affleck's character and focusing on his autism, the second film, I think, the only fly in the ointment is that they really over egg the fact that everybody's got autism, and there's a lot of characters with autism, and there's almost like too many coincidences that they bump into somebody and they happen to be related with somebody with autism, and that sort of thing happens. But overall, I think it is quite a lovely love letter to people in that position, and it's more because
teaching them they should become assassins.
100%, yeah, exactly.
In February 2020, Ben Affleck revealed there were talks about a follow-up for The Accountant, which was in 2016, but they had yet to nail down a script. At the same time, he also mentioned there were talks of developing a TV series based on the film, The Accountant.
Right down Peter Street.
This might be a bit of a spoiler, so I do apologise.
Yeah.
It says the story Braxton tells the woman in Germany about Terry the dog and the Munchkins.
No! Don't mention that.
A major cast returned for the sequel, with the exception of Anna Kendrick.
Yes.
And then Alison Robertson replaced Alison Wright from The Accountant 2016.
Yeah, I did notice that.
As Justine, but Wright still provides the computer-generated voice of the mute character.
Yes.
Now you have seen, I think Peter may have seen her before. She was in Snowpiercer.
Right.
The one who does the voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
She was
interesting.
she played Ruth Wardle and Lila Anderson or something.
Yeah. There was a lovely little scene. There's a lovely little like mini scene all the way through it where Ben Affleck's getting. It's almost like he's almost got like a Jeeves character at the end of a phone. And he's telling him what to wear, what not to wear, and this character sees everything, and I can't tell you why. But this character, it's actually lovely. Actually.
And as I said, it won the South by Southwest Film Award. It's also its world premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival in the US, which was on the 8th of March.
Now, I do have to give Tucker TV a big shout out, because Richard Tucker has seen The Accountant 1, and he was the one that encouraged me to book The Accountant 2, but also watch The Accountant 1 to get the backstory on it. And he was right. I mean, I was very reluctant, and I was drag kicking and screaming to watch the first one. And after watching the first one, I was there going, the second one can't be that good. And I was pleasantly surprised.
So you've had a great cinema week.
I've had a fantastic cinema week.
You've had a good fortnight.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, exactly.
That's
Looking forward to next week. But we'll talk about that after Nikky's sequel. How did they do that? That was good, isn't it? Into the past.
Okay, so it was week 27, and Peter thought James was looking quite Parisian.
Oh.
Obviously, James then went
He was
on
wearing
to
a
try and do a
Breton.
French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound like from Halifax again.
James had
Hello, Chuck.
James
I'm from Paris, I am.
I like a baguette, please.
James
You
had
got
been-
French.
Oh my god! Do you want me to do my sequel? James had been listening to the audiobook for June.
I had.
You had.
Yes.
You reviewed Boy Kills World, which
Ah.
you gave 7.9.
Mhm.
It's currently available on Sky, Amazon, Apple, Google, YouTube, and Paramount Plus.
Great film.
Brave film got
and-
panned, didn't it?
James went off on a Skarsgård tangent, saying that there's a Skarsgård town with giant toilets.
There will be. Imagine that. Massive toilets.
That was
Gold.
pretty much exactly how he worded it last year. You had seen 7 out of the top 10 as well.
Wow. I think we've pretty much 5 out of top 10 this week.
And I asked you both before we started
Yes.
if you could remember what you were doing this time last year.
Oh.
Because you'd been rubbing shoulders with somebody
Oh, yeah,
well
okay.
known.
Oh, had we? It was at the seahorse and the almond.
Yep.
Ah, that was
The
our
Almond
trip
and the
last.
Seahorse. You've
Yes.
gone to the premiere.
Yeah.
And it's now available on Amazon, Google, Apple TV and Sky Store.
Talk about autism.
So there we go.
Interesting.
There we go. Brilliant. Well done, Nikky.
Thank you very much,
That's
Nikki.
okay.
So there you go. That's our top 10. 3 movies. So we've had Sinners, Until Dawn, and The Accountant, and The Accountant 2.
Leo's going to be knackered after that.
Isn't he
No.
just?
Yeah.
What are
Absolutely.
you watching next week?
Wow, I've got Thunderbolts booked
Indeed.
for Friday.
Tomorrow.
For Friday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Looking forward to it. And I have to say, initially, I was there going, oh, Marvel. What are they
Oh,
going
I think it's quite cute.
I think it looks quite raw,
Yeah.
and I think it looks quite 3-dimensional, and I think there's definitely a lack of CGI.
Well, don't think about that. But I think they are definitely trying new cinematic techniques to see what sticks.
Yeah, 100%. And I think they're moving away from because they really got that sort of Vaseline covered lens thing going on there with the Eternals, and it was all very dreamy and a bit too Disney.
Yeah. Is Fantastic Four, is that also Marvel?
That's later though.
Yeah. But again, they're trying a new kind of film technique.
Yeah.
Anyway, there we go.
And I'm also going to go and see Monty Python and the Holy Grail on Sunday. I'm looking forward to that.
So I can't join you on Friday, but I will go and see
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts
I think you should.
on Monday, so we
Yeah.
can review it together next week.
That'd be great. And I think next week there's a screen unseen as well, but we can talk about that later.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Any films you'd recommend going to see that were in the top 10?
Sinners.
Yeah, go see Sinners.
Definitely.
Sinners and Warfare seem to be the two standout at the moment.
I agree with you completely. And you know what? If you've seen Accountant 1 and you didn't think that much of it, go to see Accountant 2 because it's a lot funnier and a lot better.
Well, it sounds like they looked at what was wrong with the first one and changed it quite a lot.
100%. It was like it was almost the same universe but funnier.
I'm going to try and see the Penguin Lessons as well.
Please do, and then come back to us. Did you
Yeah.
find out whether it was the French or the...
It doesn't look like it is. It's based on a book.
Okay. Well, I'll look into that
So
later.
maybe
Oh, we'll have a little Google.
yeah,
Yes, indeed.
we'll have a Google.
Other search engines are available.
Yeah, just ask Jeeves.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How can people find us, Peter?
Find us, or, yeah, it's there.
Everything.
Yeah.
Can they look at us or hear us?
Well, they're already watching us.
Yeah.
So if they want to let us know how we did, they can leave a comment under our YouTube video.
That'd be nice.
Our Facebook page, Instagram. They can press the magic button on the platform wherever they stream our podcast from, which says message us. Just let us know who you are, because it doesn't tell us who you are when you message on that
That's right.
format. Or just get in contact with us directly, personally, individually.
Yeah.
Leave us we haven't had a good voice note
I think you're
for
right.
some time now.
Yes.
And I'm not calling out Lawrence, because Lawrence has done several, but
Absolutely.
we'd like some people to send some in.
I think my son might see a movie with us. I think I might encourage him to send a voice note.
Yeah,
That'd be
let's
great.
do that.
Yes, exactly.
There's one thing left to do then, Peter.
Popcorn Pundits.
Week
79.
79.
I know.
79.
You must be all hoarse after that, James.
I did talk a bit, didn't I?
No, it's good. Liked it.